Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ijeoma Ubochi, and today we'll be discussing are beginners really expecting too much from tech too soon, like too much too soon. So if you're joining in for the first time, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And then I'm not discussing this alone. I have a guest. We have the amazing, fantastic, supersonic Eniayo. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. My name is Eniayo Adediran. I'm a DevOps engineer. Have a couple of years of experience in the DevOps field, and I'll be discussing on the uh, people expecting beginners
Are
expecting too
beginners
much.
expecting too
Yeah,
much?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're a beginner, this is the perfect conversation for you to jump into. Um, yeah, let's get into it. So I like to ask people how they got into tech. Like, what was your background story? Did you study computer science in school? Did you get into tech for the money? Tell us.
So as for myself, my brother was my inspiration of going into tech. So when I was in GS3, he was like I should go into science class, and I went to science class. I finished with computer science in Babcock University. So after that, I did a couple of things. I did software testing. It didn't work. Like I wrote the exam, I didn't pass. I tried going into data analysis. Did a couple of like projects that didn't go through. I also tried what's it called? I tried programming. I hated programming all along. So my brother is a developer, so he was trying to encourage me, but it wasn't something I had passion for. So I was doing system administrator for quite a while. Then after a while, I got tired of the job because things were not really going well in the organization at that point. So my brother's friend, my brother's housemate then was doing DevOps. So he was telling me, why don't you delve into DevOps? It has like a similar pathway to system administrator, but just that you'd have to be like managing infra, etc. And if you have like a background knowledge in system admin, Linux, and all of that, you can easily transition into DevOps. So I started with a couple of um, resources. I was getting resources here and there, doing my research. Um, I did some online schools, Coursera. Um, I did a couple of online schools. I did AWS, cloud practitioner. I've done it like over 3 years now, so that's what I'm struggling to remember. Um, so I did a couple of things. I kept on. I had to pay for AWS. What's it called? I had to pay for like subscription just to have like a project on my own to have like that reward experience. So I think the major concern is um whenever one finishes from school and one like tries dabbling into several things, there's always a gap between the knowledge you get from your uni or whatever wherever you go to having practical exposure, and that practical exposure is what really matters at the end of the day. So as for myself, I kept on like getting, so after a while I became way better, and I kept on getting like freelance jobs, and that's what I'm currently doing. So I kept on getting better myself. Some of the skills I learned them on my own. But what I'll just advise anyone like trying to go into DevOps, like you have to not necessarily know programming, but you have to know the basics, like having solid background in Linux, having solid background in a programming language, either Python or Golang. You actually need to have it, no matter how you want to run away from it. And yes, even after like a year after I started, I was doing like a couple of interviews here in Nigeria, and it wasn't working out till I joined a company in last year June, and I left in October. So it's actually like a really difficult sport. So if you once you start, it's not like it's not rosy as you just say, okay, I'm start earning my first either 500, 600, regarding on how much you desire to earn. It might take a while. You might have to even do some things for free. You might have to learn on your own, pay for materials that are going to like out of your money, and at some point it might be like no one is going to believe in you. Like you keep on learning, like nothing to show forth for it, because at the end of the day no one really cares about the routes you go through learning. They only care about the outcome, about what justifies, okay, you have been learning so and so, okay, what can you do, okay, show me what you have done. And technically speaking, most DevOps role, right? They don't, it's not something you can just visibly show, because it's like bridging the gap between operations and development. And then in bridging that gap, you have to work with developers. You have to make sure, okay, this thing works as the stakeholders want it to work. You need to also make sure that you maintain that particular infrastructure that is being made use of. You need to do all of that, making sure you don't exceed the budget the organization has for whichever cloud service provider one makes use of, and all of that. So it encompasses a whole lot, but having that background knowledge actually helps you, like when you want to start having like the whole practical sense. That's when you're able to apply it. But I would strongly agree that there's some things, and even in having like a role model, yeah, like people would never have your time, because most people doing DevOps, they tend to like do multiple jobs, not just one job. Like for instance, like I'm actually an example. I don't just focus on one job. So they might not have your time to start saying you want someone to mentor you, or you want someone to guide you or show you a pathway, because they themselves, they don't even have time for themselves. And that's the truth of the matter. So yeah.
I like that answer. Not you putting yourself on blast. You've told the world that you're doing multiple jobs, so okay. Anyway, so from your experience, do you think beginners are expecting too much too soon?
Yes, because I mean, people just feel like how do I explain it? They feel like if for instance, if I'm earning say 300 or 400,000 per month,
Mm-hmm.
someone just starting, they're probably paying him 100 or 70K. I'm just giving like a scenario. And then the person is always like maybe seeing you taking up having to do a whole lot of things, or like your expenses are and then the person is like envious of you, like trying to say how can he get to this level. So it takes a whole lot. It takes a whole lot of like not just sacrifice, not just having to, I just feel like one just has to be determined, like regardless of whatever you do, because and it has to be like your pathway. It has to be what the universe aligns for you, because at the end of the day, if you try everything and it doesn't work out, it might not be what you're destined to do. So that also plays a role. But I feel people actually, some people, they just want to go on Upwork, apply, get a job that's going to pay them $1,500, $2,000 at a
Yeah.
go, and they probably have less than 1 year, 2 years experience. And for people to get to that level, they probably got in like 3 to 5 years, still may do like 5 years upwards before they can get to that sort of level. So I feel people expect too much, maybe because the year tech is a new thing, tech is a new wave, and then you just want to dabble into it and say, yes, I must make my money off it. And they at the end of the day, they lose the whole point in going into tech. So I feel they actually
Yeah,
expect.
but then it's not completely their fault, anyways, because everybody's always saying tech is the new oil. So people want to tap into it. But in your experience, what would you say the most unrealistic expectation is?
So the most unrealistic expectation is having to for instance, you have like a year experience, and you just expect overnight that it just comes like that, and you would you would have like 5 years experience, like earning 5 years experience salary. I think is so unrealistic. Another thing I also feel is so unrealistic is when how do I explain this now? So like in like trying to like build your career, there are so many things like one can there's some opportunities one may lose due to the fact that, because I've seen this couple of times whereby you don't have enough funds to probably get a device, and then um that opportunity just passes you by, and then maybe you have to start going to the office physically to work, and then the whole hassle of transport. I'm just giving you like something that is very um like, okay, you say you want to do tech, you don't even have a laptop, you don't have anything to show forth. You don't have what it takes, or if an opportunity comes, you don't have like a working passport or anything. I'm just giving an instance. You don't have what it takes to do that particular thing when the opportunity comes. I think that's another thing people use to shoot themselves on the feet, because you want to do a certain thing, but you don't have the requirements or the tools or what needs to be done to get that thing sorted out.
I like that. That's so interesting, and you give certain nuances that I completely agree with. I think, again, because the narrative is that tech is the new oil, everybody just expects the most, so they just want to go into it. But you're somebody who has tried multiple things, like you explained when you're telling us your background. What you thought tech was when you were starting, and what you're experiencing now? Would you say that there's a contrast?
Well, yes, in the sense that not really contrast per se, but like you never know how something feels till you get into it. Let me just put it that way. So everyone is saying tech is this, but like it causes a whole lot. Like, let me just give an instance, like burnout. At times you struggle days, weeks trying to like solve a problem, and then you don't get it done, and then yeah, there's like pressure here and there, having to meet deadlines. And then I'm talking about problems that were actually in the backlog even way before you joined the organization. I'm not talking about problems that maybe you just can put it on ChatGPT or Cursor or any of these AI agents. I'm talking about things that actually require way more than just artificial intelligence. I'm talking about things that, and then it keeps on bothering you, because if you can't get something sorted out, and then there's a whole lot of pressure on you, you feel that pain that you need to get it sorted. And then when you get sorted, there's this feeling, there's this joy, or let me just say happiness that comes with it, that yes, I finally got this sorted out. And then you move on to the next hurdle that you're going to climb. So I think that's the only thing. Other than that, I think that's the only thing, like having to meet with timelines, and then the whole having to resolve something, being on calls. On call basically means you're scheduled to respond to any incidents that happens during that point in time. If they have downtime, you have to resolve it during that time. Like it happens for like a whole week in most organizations, so you have to stay awake. If they call you by 1 p.m., like it's just like is automated, so the call just comes to your phone. You have to respond, and then you need to answer at that point in time and resolve that issue. So it might seem, I'm just talking about in DevOps SRE field. I don't know if they do on call for other tech fields, but I know for DevOps and SRE they do on call schedule. So that's just the downside. But other than that, everything else seems like as I predicted it to be.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the job market for a bit. I've heard a lot of people say that you should learn a tech skill, and in 3 months you're going to get a job that will pay you XYZ amount. Do you think that is true, or is it just marketing in your opinion?
No, I don't think that is true. So for the job market everywhere, like globally, it's actually really saturated. And then with the new buzz of AI, everyone wants to people are laying people off in replacing that with AI agents, and they rather have, instead of 10 people, they rather have 3 people do the job, and then pay for these AI agents to help them do the work. But what happens at the end of the day is, in the future, the AI models become so expensive for them to manage, or something like what happened last week. A cloud wiped out like the database of a company, I think Packet OS or thereabout. So I think that's what happens. But currently, the job market is really, you need to know someone that knows someone. It's only if you're exceptionally good, or and then if you're exceptionally good, the company doesn't want to pay you for your value, and there's a standard which you get, you know your worth. You won't do, want to settle for less, and then the company is telling you no, they can only pay you XYZ amount, and then you're like, no, you can't accept the job, and then they end up giving someone that is probably not qualified to do the job just because they need to meet XYZ budgets. They don't want to surpass the threshold that they have. So I think that's what happens in the job market, and that's where you see many people running away from. For instance, banking industry, you see many people running away, leaving the country to find greener pastures. You can't actually blame them because either they can't afford them, or most of the time they can't afford them, or the workload is way more than the pay they are getting.
True. That's very, very true. Okay, so what do you think most beginners underestimate? We've talked about what they overestimate. What do they underestimate the most when they're getting into tech?
I feel they underestimate the practical knowledge, the practical side of things. So most of the times, like especially the way Nigerian schools are programmed, just most of the times theoretical. There are even some practicals that I did in school then that you actually write them in paper, and that's actually not how it's meant to be. You're actually meant to like run this thing on a computer to execute the program and see the output of whatever you executed. So people actually, and that's why you see people going for boot camps and whatnot, for them to bridge that gap between the what they've acquired and then the practical skills. So I think people actually do underestimate the practical knowledge, and it's very, very vital in whatever one wants to do.
Thank you very much. So as you were talking, I remember that you said you tried different things. At what point did you realize that DevOps was what you wanted to do?
Um, so at what point I got like a pathway of DevOps. Like my brother's friend shared me the pathway, and then I was seeing it's something, was some things I was already familiar with because I was in system administrator before, like, and I felt like system administrator wasn't something I wanted to do, in the sense that the company I was working for there, I wasn't really solving problems. I wasn't growing. So I followed the pathway, and I felt like, okay, this is something, let me give it a try. And then I started it, and it worked out.
Fantastic. How did you struggle with your motivation? Because you said one thing, then you went somewhere else, then you went someone else. What kept you going?
I do want to, so like, I would just say fear of failing, because I tried a couple of things and it didn't work out, and I didn't want to relent because now give up, fuck up. So you have to just keep on going, and till you get it. And you might even get to a later stage, and then you might see that, okay, oh, AI engineering is the new buzz. You might even want to still switch career, but I'm just giving like an instance that you might keep on going. Like there's some fields that AI might actually end up taking at the long run. And then would you say because AI is going to take your job, and then you just sit down like that, and you wouldn't want to learn a new skill? So I think having to adapt to things, that's what's actually made me keep on going. And you just need to know your strengths, what you're good at, and your weakness, and you have to like find a balance.
I really like that. So for somebody who is listening who has tried multiple things and it didn't work out for them, do you have like any words of encouragement?
What I'll just simply say, just keep on doing what you do, and keep on doing your best. Even if your best is not enough, you just have to keep on trying to you eventually get what you actually want at the long run. Because if you just say you want to give up, and then let's say an opportunity comes and the opportunity passes you by, because you probably gave up like 2 3 months ago. And so yeah, I would just say just keep on doing what you're doing, and keep on pushing harder. and till you eventually get it.
Thank you very much. So let's talk about discipline for a bit. What habits do you think that beginners can build really early so that makes a difference for their career?
So I think one thing is one needs to be very structured in the sense that you so while joining some organizations, you need to have, okay, it might take a while for you to adapt to their meetings. You need to have like a folder, probably keeping all things relating to that. You can also write things down, like use marker, etc. But I think it's way better for you to have them maybe in the cloud, have reminders to remind you, I have a meeting so time, I have this, I need to get this sorted out. I mean, you can easily remember, but like no one is perfect. So you just having a reminder, like probably Monday to Friday, you have stand up time. Okay, you have some deliverables to do. What do you want to do over the weekend? Are you going to be on call? You have some deliverables to meet up with. You just having like just being organized and having to plan whatever you want to do. It really goes in a long way than just saying, okay, yes, I have a meeting by 7, and having to be like even be prepared before the meeting, not just you're having a meeting and then you're waking up by like 7:58 or 7:59 and then you're just rushing and having to do everything at a go. So yeah.
I like that. So organization skill is something that they should take seriously really early. So
Yeah.
if a beginner is learning, say I'm learning a tech skill, at what point should I start thinking I need to monetize my skills?
So I think the points whereby you monetize your skills is when you have like a product, you have a product to sell or a product to offer that is in demand or people would want to. Let me give you an instance. Like say you want to create like a gym app whereby you can easily make payments with the gym. You can easily monetize that one, sell it to probably one of all these gyms because people have been going to gym lately, and then pitch your product to whoever the stakeholder or whoever owns the gym, and you can just monetize it that way. But you have to make sure like what you want to do is actually in demand. You can't just say you want to just wake up and not have like a plan. You want to monetize something, you don't even know who you want to monetize the thing to, what problem is the thing going to solve. And once you highlight all those things, it will be easier for you to say, okay, I've built this. Okay, let me monetize this. Okay, what do I have to do that's already existing to make it better? Okay, I want to have my own what's it called, child deck. What does child deck that mine would supersede it? Okay, I have to have like a an app for um appointment of haircut, or let's say hairdressing, etc. You just need to have like a service that you think people would actually want, and then from there you can monetize it.
Okay, so we're rounding up quickly, but before you go, can you tell us one thing, one truth, one hard truth that people tend to lie by omission and not tell people before they get into tech?
Before it gets into tech. So can you rephrase that question?
One hard truth people don't tell people, beginners, before they get into tech. Like before learning a tech skill, what's something you need to know that people don't tell you?
Yeah, it's like I've said something prior to that. Like you you have to like that practical knowledge, and then you also have to. There's some certain situations whereby people don't tell you that, okay, these are the, like, some things are going to be really difficult. Some people just feel like, okay, once you just get into tech, everything is going to go smoothly. There's some things that, how do I explain it to you? They're really consuming. Like, you might think, okay, you're working from home, but the numbers of meetings you're going to attend, you're going to be so burned out, and then you might even forget, okay, you have not had breakfast or lunch or whatever today. But all those things are still things that might pay off at the end of the day. So I think that practical thing and time management. I think, yeah, time management. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay, so we're rounding up. Is there any question you wish I asked you?
No.
Okay. Do you have any final thing for the people? What do you want to tell them before they go? Before you
Just
go?
just keep doing your best to actually get the results you're actually looking for, and sky's the limit.
Thank you very much. And thanks to everyone who is listening to us. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, remember that we're currently having a 90% discount. You can learn tech skills for as low as 100,000 naira. Just comment tech in this video and we'll send you a DM. Thank you so much, Eniayo. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.